All right, good morning. We're going to be talking today about what I call the ego of food. So let's get started, shall we? So, the ego of food, guess what? God made food. Any questions there? And it was good. But, food was created for us, right? What was it created for? For energy, for food. It was created for nourishment, for community. How often do we sit around and have a meal with our family or celebrating? And necessary for what? Metabolic survival. And the original flow, if you really want to look at it, was God created everything. God created food, and it was created for what? It was created for mankind. But something changed along the way, didn't it? What changed? What changed? Well, industry. Man enters into the flow, doesn't it? Industry comes in, and that's our first interrupt. And what happens is profit, simply profit got in the way. When food became business, that became the goal. And that's the ego. That is the edging out of God. So the question is when food became a business, what changed? What changed when food became a business? Put that in the chat, would you? If you got an idea, that'd be wonderful. But guess what? Let's look at and continue on. What else happened? Well, what else happened was this: food became a convenience. Convenience becomes king. How many times that I'm 74, there weren't drive-ins. There weren't drive-ins. There weren't drive-ins. You didn't sit in your car in a parking lot around circling around a wagon, if you will, and wait 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, a half hour for a cup of what? Cup of carbohydrates? No, that wasn't it. But what happened is that then what goes on is that's our next interrupt. Convenience becomes the interrupt, doesn't it? And now, on top of that, portions got bigger. Portions, I mean, when we used to eat, I'm 74. I was born in the 50s. We sat around the table, not around the steering wheel. We sat around the table and had conversations. We passed things. The food was given to us. We did that, right? That's what it was like. But now look at it. You buy food by the pound. You look at the marquees to find the deal, the most stuff you can put in for dollars, don't you? It's about profit. And what happened on top of that, what really made the thing go goofy, the next interrupt and part of it is that food is engineered. I just raised the question to you. What do I mean by that? What do I mean? If you think you know what I mean by food's engineered, it's lab generated, isn't it? It's lab tested. How many ingredients are there normal from your garden? If you grab food out of the garden, right? If you happen to butcher, slaughter, which are not many people do, their own meats, right? Catch their own fish and clean it, that kind of strip out, pluck your chicken, scald them, and do all that thanks to things that I know how to do. You don't, I'm sure. But if you do, you don't do it. What happens? What happens? Food is engineered, it's formulated. Look at the back of any package. I dare you to. I mean, if you look at the back of any package, you're going to find out that what? It looks like it came out of a lab experiment. Yeah. Because what got removed? What did they remove? If they take something out, you're going to replace it with what? Something that you're going to have for profit, right? So what happens is what we did is they removed the fiber. Now, fiber being removed did a couple things. You know what those are? If you know what that is, put that in the chat. But really, what it is, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to rant. So I'm on a rant this morning. I'm going to just go. They took out fiber. Fiber. Now, they took out fiber. One thing, and we're talking about it, and it's really the crime. One of the crimes involved in all of this is that they did it for, what did we say in the industry we did this for? For profit. And what is the profit? They need shelf life. They need it to be on the shelf. Other than convenience, it needs to be there. Now, if they take that out, what does that do? It increases their profit, but what does that do to your banking system? What does that do to your banking system? You know what your banking system is? It's your gut. Yeah, that that scooting pooping thing you don't think about, want to talk about, right? But that tends to grow and get bigger like that. I mean, yeah, I'm proof. I'm a joke. I used to be before the comeback plan. I used to be and make a joke and pray that God get me into shape. I want to be in shape. And what he did is he has a sense of humor, made me the shape of a pear. And what I really tried to do is not get to gourd. And I actually got up all the way to watermelon. But when they remove the fiber, they take out nutrients that we need. But they don't talk about that, do they? They artificially put stuff in there, but does it replace the nutrients, the satiety, the real food structure that they took out? No. And how do we know that? How can we prove that? Anybody got leaky gut? Anybody got Crohn's? Anybody got issues with their gut? Anybody have depression? Anybody have mood anxiety? Anybody? Anybody developing type 2 diabetes? Anybody? Anybody have brain fog? Anybody? Yeah. So what happens is now we have this food loop. We've got this food loop that's going on. And when this does, the system that was built for you directly from God has been interrupted, hasn't it? It's totally been interrupted. Hey, good morning, Steve. Good seeing you, buddy. Hey, Jennifer. Nice seeing you there, Carol. And we had a great call last night, didn't we? That was really, really fun. So what's going on here is that we need to look at what went on, the cost. What is the cost that we are incurred? Because there's nothing free, is there? I mean, God created the food for us, but now it's all what? It's in there for profit. It's in there for a whole nother world, isn't it? And when we start looking at it, let's just look at it. What happens is now we start having, I don't know, weight challenges. Anybody have a gravity challenge? Anybody been to a party where they look around and once you see it, you can't unsee it, can you, kids? Right? When the waist, that slope, that belly slope, the people wear Hawaiian shirts now, right? It's summer, so you start wearing the muumuus. And have you noticed how the back may be straight, but the shirt kind of hangs out? Yeah, I used to want to buy ties from the straight tie store because my ties, when I was in business, my ties were always curved. I wanted to buy ties from the straight tie store. And let's say pre-diabetes. What does what does pre mean? Anybody? Richard Bueller? What does pre? Pre means that what? Pre means that you aren't there yet because we haven't decided you're there yet. And we develop fatty liver. Maybe say, hey, you're pre-fatty liver. Anybody? Do you hear that? Or you're pre-Crohn's? Or you pre anything? No, they just wait until you are. Now, if you're pre something, if you're headed that way, wouldn't it be nice to know? Wouldn't you like to have somebody let you know in advance? And who would that be? Well, that's be someone that's got some control, someone that has some knowledge, someone that really cares other than profit where we're going to go with this. And that's what we're talking about. And what we're talking about here is that what? Let's just continue. Let's continue with the ego of food. Look at this. We've got God is interrupted by industry. God is interrupted. Now we just talk about convenience. I mean, how many miles, Steve, is it from your next food outside of your own house, outside of your own pantry? I'll bet you, Steve, you can get to some place to grab a snack, a drink, a drive-through inside of 10 minutes from your house, right? 10 minutes. You could probably walk there as fast, but you get in your car, you can drive, you're there. And now you have how many? As many as you can imagine. And you may go, I wanted this restaurant. I wanted that. You go into a hardware store, you can buy food at the counter, can't you? And so where we start looking at it is now what happens, look here. What goes on is the fact that big pharma comes in. So this interruption cycle in our history, and really follow me on this, is that really this happened in the last 100 years. Mankind has been on the planet for how long? It's arguable, it's debatable, but let me ask you this. It's thousands of years, isn't it? By at least sake of argument. We've been around for 1,000 years. We've been around for 2,000, 10,000. I don't care what you want to believe on. You can Google it. I guess Google isn't what we do anymore, right? I mean, you can go AI it. But you can find out how long we've been around. But all of these interruptions began in the last 100 years. In the last 100 years, absolutely. So let's continue on. So what are we looking at the modern day, right? Let's look at the modern day. What is going on? 3 miles, exactly. 3 miles, you can grab your next whatever, fupa latte, carbohydrate, whatever, snacky, whatever you want to call it. You can probably sit down and drive through, right? And then circle the wagon again, drive through again. And so we start looking at it, look at the addictional side of this. What happens is that we have one complete interrupt after another, don't we? And we start looking at that way, it's all going down, isn't it? We had the industry came in, interrupted for profit. Then there was convenience. What? For profit. Then the science of addiction. How did we get there? Well, there's a whole industry. There's a whole industry that was what? That learned how to make people addicted to things. And that was this one, wasn't it? Think about that. How it used to be all the ads on the television were what? They were this kind of thing. And they're after World War II, you guys don't know because you're not old enough, but they were things that people needed to supply their homes because there's this thing called a baby boomer. In the US, we won the war in theory, and we were happy, so everybody was having sex. Look to Europe, look at Japan, they weren't. They weren't. Their populations went down. Ours was booming. We were growing. We got more and more of us, more and more of us, more and more of us. And the idea that now there's ways we can make profit, the industry comes into play. And that's what happened. That's really what goes on. And so now look at this. God made food for man, not the other way around. Ponder that for half a second. Ponder that for half a second. And if you don't believe in deities, gods, whatever your philosophical belief is, originally there was food before there was industry. Can we agree on that? And when there was that, it was pure, it was simple. That was the design. It was totally what we needed, enrich our bodies, create the energy to make everything function well. And how often did we eat originally? How many meals? How many meals did let's go to Little House on the Prairie time to time? How often did they eat? Once a day? Maybe twice a day? How often do you eat? How often do you sit and snack? How often is there something in your cup right next to you in the car? How often was there? They didn't have the television, didn't they? They didn't have the ability to sit for hours and do nothing. They didn't have screen time, just mindlessly looking at stuff. But we have time now by design for convenience and everything else that creates this chaos. So the question is, if God made food for man, who is food being made for now? Who's food being made for now? Simple question. And is it more nutritious? Is it more whole? Or do we kind of need to come back to reality? The real reality, not the profit, not the addiction, not the brainstorming, not the convincing you on the television, not the additional added things. Don't we want to come back? How many of you go to a farmer's market? If you go to a farmer's market, enter that in the chat. Why? Why do you go to the farmer's market? Because you're bored? Or as you're looking to come back, you want to have some hope? Do you really want to have the ability to get back to where we once were? Yeah. That's why a lot of people, let's go. We go there. So the choice is ours. We can return to the original flow, or we continue to go down this modern day food path of edging God out, the ego of food. and you can't go back. If you Because really, what do you want, Steve? I guess let me ask you, what are some things you really want? I mean, don't you want more energy, mobility? How about clarity, Steve? You and I you're older like me, but not as old as me. But we want clarity, don't we? You want independence. We want to have purpose and we want to have time. That's what people really want. Do we want another burger? Do we need another fry? Do we need another fake butter? Do we need fake meat? Hmm? Is that what we want? Or we want time, health, independence, clarity, energy? And what if the answer isn't more pills, more appointments, more confusion? Good gravy, right? More frustration. That's not what we're meant for. That's not our life is. What if the answer is less processed food, hyper processed food? Because I was in debate, and we could have a debate, can't we, semantically of what processed food is. If I clean a chicken, I'm processing, not. We're talking about hyper addictive foods. We're talking about all ultra processed foods. We're talking about things that cause us to constantly be addicted to snacking, to eating, to drinking, grabbing energy. Why do you need an energy drink? A chemical pot of of energy so that you can crash, so your body can try to figure out what the heck it is. And they sell it to us in what? And how many cans, and how many bottles, and how many colors? The same way they got us tricked, the same way you were tricked. Now I was tricked too. The same way it went with cartoons and cereal. Think about that. It's the same thing. They've got you color coded. They even track what you do. You use those apps, you enter your code or you swipe your card so you can get a better pricing or get some points. They're tracking you. They're tracking all of your habits. They know how to market to you. Why? Because they have you addicted. You know what? How many? What was that old one? Bet you can't eat just how many? Once you pop, you can't what? Exactly. No one said that about an apple. Oh, what did they say about an apple? They said one a day keeps the doctor away. It used to be. Now you can do what? You can buy it in a jar. Think about that. All of the chemicals that are in there. And I'm not against chemicals per se, right? I'm not against those things per se, but I don't need it in my food. Tell me why I need it in my food. If you were going to feed your child, your grandchild, Steve, if you're going to feed your grandchild peanut butter and you were going to make it, what would you put in there? Yeah, I would too. I'd put in peanuts and salt. And I would even use high quality salt, like Himalayan salt or something cool. And when I actually make something like that, I actually put a little cayenne just because I want a little spice. So if we do it that, but if you look at a jar that's made that choosy moms would do, let me see if I can grab one. I grab one here in my bag of toys. So if you're going to buy a peanut butter and make your own peanut butter, yeah, you just use what? You just use or even organic, right? Organic peanuts and sea salt. That's pretty good. But why won't you buy that in the store? Because there's oil in it. It separates. Specific gravity, right? Oil's gonna float to the top, solids go to the bottom. But you won't buy it since it's not as pretty. Also, is this right at the kids' level on the shelf? Or is this up here where they can't see it? And probably you can't either. Right? And a lot of times it's less expensive. Sometimes it's more because if we've got organic, that's a word that tricks you. It's to not turn around and read the rest of the label. But let's look at maybe what some choosy mom might use. And this one has peanuts, but roasted, not organic. And what's the second ingredient? Sugar. If you're going to make some peanut butter or almond butter or cashew butter, I have a sophisticated recipe, sort of kind of. But if you're going to do that, is the second ingredient you're going to throw in that blender sugar? No, I'm not. I sure second. And would you add Crisco? Would you add Crisco to your blender? Well, this has it. How do I know? Because it's hydrogenated vegetable oils. Hydrogenated vegetable oils. And this one happens to be rapeseed, soybean, cottonseed oil. Now, what's hydrogenated? Look it up. If you look up hydrogenated oil, you're going to find out, well, the best way to look at it is go look at a can of shortening, not large, shortening. Go look at Crisco. Go look at what Crisco is. Crisco is simply hydrogenated vegetable oil. It originally was cottonseed oil, which was a lubricant. It's actually originally a toxic waste. So it was used eventually. Procter and Gamble, those two guys, with another whole nother story. They did it and used it for what? They wanted it for soap manufacturing, candle manufacturing. But they found out with hydrogenation that now they had this. That's a whole nother story. But my point is, we're looking at chemicalization of food for profit. For profit. Have you ever been, Steve? Have you ever been around a bunch of old people? Yeah, when we were young, what we used to call it? When a bunch of old people got together, we used to call it what? An organ recital, didn't we? And they were talking about my back, my sacroilium, my lumbago, right? If you've been to a barbecue or a party or something like that, and you start listening and looking around, people talking about their blood sugar, they're talking about their blood pressure, they're tired, sleepy, achy, their hair's falling out, their belly's getting bigger, they're sweating at night, they can't sleep, they're going to the bathroom all the time. I mean, how many times you golf and you see guys that got to stop in the middle and go to find a tree because they got to pee, they have polyuria. Why? Because a whole lot of reasons. That's not normal. It's all because of where we got. So when we think about an organ recital, think about the last time you were in a gathering. And I know this happens with people in their 30s and 40s, but I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you guys that are 55 plus, because we have seen as we're growing into what they're saying is old age. You're just getting older. Poppycock. That is not ching. That is not getting older. It is by design to what? Well, think about this. When did this become normal? When did it become normal to have 8 prescriptions or more, or a CPAP machine? When did it become normal for 30, 40, 50-year-olds to start having body replacements, knee replacements, fatty liver issues, some diabetes, diabetes, and those types of things used to be truly old age. Why? Because you live long enough and the accumulation occurred. Now, in our modern day food environment, and if you were born in 1970 or later, 80s, 90s, this is all you know. This is why you see this, and that is what you think is normal. But when did it become normal? It's not normal. It's not normal. It's by design. It truly is by design. Yeah. And I used to be Mr. Belly So Big, Steve. Why? Because I was eating all the time, noshing a little bit. We were promised so much more, weren't we? We were promised freedom and adventures and grandkids, and I've got great grandkids, and memories and life, and a life well lived and healthy. We wanted, and we used to have our health line last as long as our lifeline. Now we're seeing people living longer, but are they living healthier? Are they living without pain? Are they living without medications? Are they living without assistance? No. We're seeing more and more of a decline and accelerating to younger ages, all by design. I mean, people are missing times and moments. I can't tell you how many stories I hear and see of adults our age, 55 plus, even 30s and 40s, not able to what? Go play with grandkids, even play with their kids. Get out and do things, be active. Why? Because they're too tired. They don't have the strength. They can't see. Their blood pressure is too high. Their joints are aching. Their back is thin. They've got a gazillion lists of things. They're missing out. And one of the major things that I believe is that life's simple pleasures are the best, and the best and greatest memories didn't cost you a dime. And the influence that we have on our children and grandchildren, our friends and neighbors, are those same moments of joy. And you don't get it when you're on the couch. You don't get it when you have to go pee every time. You don't get it when you have make so much noise at night that your neighbors wake up, that your spouse can't sleep, that your children can't sleep, that you wake up and you're tireder than when you went to bed because you didn't get enough sleep because you got up 2 or 3 times a night. You're missing moments. You want those back. Do you want to come back? Yes. The real fear, what I've realized and what I believe, is not really the final nail. It's the independence loss. Needing what we want to do is we want to remain independent. We don't want dependency. We don't want to rely on friends, neighbors, children, grandchildren to wipe our butt, to bring us food. The activities of daily living we want to provide and do for ourselves. Now, maybe if you were a king or a queen, want to be waited on, but you still got to want to get your back end out of bed and get going, don't you? So really what we want to look at is we want, how can I remain independent, not become dependent? We want to have that more energy, don't we? We want more time. We want clarity. What if the answer isn't all those other things? What if it is less of this? There is another way. We weren't meant to decline. Getting older, you get to be wiser. Does that mean that you have to be less healthy, less energy? Don't you want to? We want to thrive. I turned 74, and on my 74th birthday, I was traveling with 1,000 of my friends in the Bahamas. And before we went, I did a Spartan race. You know what Spartan is? You get to go out and throw around chains and climb up and down walls at 74 and love it. Have fun. Yeah, the Spartan. It's kind of military type exercises. It's time to come back. It's time to have that kind of fun. So what if your body isn't broken? What if it isn't broken? What if our bodies have just been hijacked? Think about it. Now, some of it, it's our habits, our lifestyle and habits. And some of those are developed. Why? Well, because food, the energy has been hijacked. Nutrition's been hijacked. Convenience, this gets you to what? Slow down. I mean, this is a computer now. I mean, remember back for some of us, we had C:// DOS. Remember that? Fortran, all those things. Lotus. Now we have Excel. Now you can tell it to do the math. So what do you have to exercise your mind like we used to? Do you read? Remember there used to be great big things called libraries? Yeah, we were active. How have your habits changed? How have your habits? And I can remember playing racquetball. I was a highly competitive racquetball player, and I'll play racquetball with anybody. I love it. Today. And I'm a diver. But I can't tell you how many guys, and those all guys I played with, eventually their knees, their back, their elbow, they couldn't play anymore. Or even golfing. Go golfing. What do you normally see? It used to be we'd walk. It used to be even carry on bags. And it's nice not to carry your own bag, have a cart and stuff. But it used to be when I play even a quick round, people were walking and talking, have a good time. Now what we see is what? Everybody's in a cart. You get in, you ride to the next thing, you get out, get off your butt, pick your club, hit the ball, sit back down, go again. And that's called exercise. And for some people, that's more than they can handle in a day. I walk just for golf, just for things, habits. How much sleep are you getting? Are you getting enough sleep? Remember when you were a kid and how you slept so well? Now what are you doing? Are you getting up because you have sweats? Are you getting up because people are snoring? Are you getting up because you got to go to the bathroom 2 or 3 times? Are you getting up because you can't sleep because your neuropathy is driving you crazy? How did we get there? How did those things happen? That goes back to the original thing we were talking about, the ego of food. So the comeback starts with choice. The comeback starts this way. Excuse me. How we got here. You got to understand that. How did we get here? The industrialization, the addiction, and farm, and ag, processing food. Now you're constantly eating. Oh, George, I don't eat all that. Yeah, oh, liar, 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 pants on fire. You got up. Most people get up, and the first thing they do after maybe after the shower and stuff is what? Grab. They grab a snack, grab something out of the fridge, right? Then they go drive through and in. Circle the wagons, right? The convenience of burning a lot of fuel, wasting time in life. Talking to the back and getting your order. In fact, probably you go to the same place all the time. They already know your order. They just know your wife should go, "Hey, Jim, how you doing? Hey, great, good. You regular? Yep, okay, good." And you grab that, and you get to wherever you work if you're working, or if you're not working, find your retired great, and you go off and you do the same habits, the same cycle, right? The same behavior every day, except to get to the weekend. The weekends are entirely different from the week work. Right? When you're working all day, when you work 5 days a week, you have a pattern, but the weekend is the wild, wild west for eating and drinking, isn't it? Now, if you're a grandparent, maybe you're watching the kids, the grandkids play and do all the things like that. Okay, let's say that. Let's look. What does that look like? If you go watch the grandkids and stuff play, or parents, if you're a parent and you go and watch the kids play, how many of you just go and sit and don't have a snack? Have a bag of snacks, right? And drinks. Give the kid, give that. And how many of you don't nibble a little bit, right? So there's that constant eating. Well, George, I don't eat, but I eat a couple meals a day. Liar. You're telling me you eat a meal, you sit down and eat a meal, and you don't have any nuts or carbohydrate, Fupa Lupa coffees, or someone has a little cupcake in the office, or cookie, or cracker, or a candy bar, and then it's lunch, and you eat whatever the lunch is. Oh, I'm going to have this. You have that, right? Maybe you're packing lunch. How many go back to lunch? Not very many. So you're eating out again. Convenience, right? The convenience of it. So you eat that, and you have you sit down, and start with chips. You go to a Mexican restaurant, you start with chips. You go to an Italian restaurant, start with some bread, right? Why? They're giving you the carbs up front to make you what? They already know by doing that, you're going to eat more, you're going to drink more. And so you make yourself feel good because you get a diet drink of some. Oh, come on. You just simply line it. And then we crash, right? We crash after lunch. And then you need an energy drink or a little candy bar, the vending machines, the chips, whatever. Maybe grab a bar full of chemicals, right? And we think we aren't snacking, but we are. It's proven. If you're not, wonderful. You are a rarity, and I congratulate you. And your health must be really, really good. because we can change. And the change requires that we come back. We need something simple, don't you think? And so there's the principles of what we call the comeback plan. First thing you want to do, eat more fiber. They took fiber out, put fiber in. And my thing is, I'm going to tell you that this is kind of abrasive. Some people, I tell you simply to F off. F off. Simply sleep faster. F. Order of food is fiber, fat, protein. Now, protein starts with a P. I know that, but I'm Filipino and I don't say Filipino. So F off. Order of food is sleep fast. So you've been sleeping, continue that fasting because you were fasting while you're sleeping, right? So sleep fast and then participate in the order of food. When you do open the gullet to put something in, take fiber first. Think, is this fiber? Or is it a cup of carbohydrates, a fupa lupa latte, right? I used to be the guy. I mean, if I was traveling, when I was traveling as a professional, and we would have a conference, and that was a rarity that I wouldn't be in one of those posh hotels, right? And they always had one of those uh, little convenient little sugar drug bars, if you will. And I'd get the large caramel, you know what I'm talking about. The old macho waco with the whipped cream. They go like, what do you want? You want whole milk? Oh, of course. I'm gonna lie to myself. I'm gonna take some oat milk. No. I'm gonna have, if I'm paying $8 for a cup or $7 for a cup of carbohydrates, I want the full dollar value. I want the whole milk. I want the whipped cream. I want the real sugar. I don't know, none of this fake stuff. So going back here, the first thing you can do to help yourself is fiber. Fiber, fiber, fiber first. That's why there's that fiber first, because it helps with that energy. It helps with your gut. Now that technically we call it the microbiome, right? Microbiome. There's actually more living things inside of your gut, inside of your intestinal tract, that whole GI thing, than you have on the rest of yourself. There's more living in there, and they're independently going. They got a whole deal. And there's good guys, and there's bad guys. But fiber first. And then when we eat, the second step is timing. Give your body a rest between gulleting. Give yourself time to repair. Let me ask you this. Have you ever cut yourself? Of course you have. Everybody's had a cut. I don't know anybody that's never not had a cut. If you had a cut, over time, it will what? It will heal, won't it? It will close up, won't it? The body heals and can heal itself if we give it time. Can we agree on that? If you give your body time, it can heal itself. Of everything, not necessarily, but yes, given the right environment, it gets to heal. What do we sleep? Why do we sleep? What is the purpose of sleep? Every animal sleeps. Heck, even plants go into dormant stages, right? What happens then? That is the greatest time to what? Repair, recharge, reset. Think about that and apply it to food. Time between putting something in your mouth. The longer the time, the more opportunity it is for your body to repair for the damage and the chaos you just caused from the last time you did. What you want, do I want? Don't you want? Maybe I'm wrong. But if you want any of these, put them in the chat. Would you like to have steady energy or do you like having peaks and valleys? Crash and burn, crash and burn, crash. How about thinking? How do you want to? Do you want to have clarity? Do you want to be able to go like, oh yeah, I got it? And vision, future vision, to plan, to see things clearly. be able to evaluate back in the same way as when we were kids? Why are kids so curious? Why do kids continue to wonder? Why do kids develop? They have imagination that's not blocked. And why, if you have better sleep, or do you wake up tireder than when you went to bed? Are you moving freely? Are you starting? Yeah. Oh, do you need a walker? Do you need a cane? Not those are bad, but if you need them, how did we get there? Do you still have confidence? Do you know that you're going to be okay? Do you feel good that you are improving your health, your energy, your independence? Do you have more good days ahead of you, or do you think they're just kind of declining? See, it's not more years, it's better years. That's what I'm after too. That's part of the comeback. So that I can do this, so I can play with my grandkids and my kids. Heck, I want to so I can play with you. Let's go. Let's come back to where we need. So food got me into this mess, and I'm guessing food got you into it too. But you know what? Food can get us out. Real food, real practices, real results, creating a better real you. It's time to come back. I wasn't supposed to be here, guys. I literally am not supposed to be here. I'm talking to you because I really, 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 really blew it. My fasting blood glucose was 834 with an A1C of 18.1. I should have been like my friend Mr. Davis, who had a coma, heart attacks and comas. In fact, I think he's had 6 of them. Not anymore. Friends of mine, friends we know. How many friends you know died? Let's be honest. How many classmates of yours aren't here anymore? How many times have you been to a funeral and you hear, well, he just didn't know. She didn't know that. Bull. They just found out. Bull. These things scream at us. Your body, my body was yelling, screaming that you are not well. Things need to change. But how hard are they to change when we're addicted, when things are, our energy sources are edging God out? Hmm? So without any medication, without any excuses, I came back from 834. But when my life was like this, I had high blood sugar, I had chronic fatigue, brain fog, inflammation, gout, weight gain, poor sleep, and no energy. Any of these resonate with anybody? And more? Yeah. I was a self-contained organ recital. Brain fog? Please. One day, I went 100 yards in my car, had to manage to get back to the house 5 times to get the phone, got in the car, left, came back around to get, I forgot my briefcase. I forgot my drink. I forgot my coat 5 times. And everything that I needed that I forgot was on the butcher block, not 2 steps in my door. All of it was there. All of it. And I forgot each thing. My brain fog was so severe that happened. My hair was falling out by the pound. I had to stop driving because I couldn't see. My gums bled. I had skin tags. My body had acne, skin acne. I had gout, inflammation, I peeing all the time. I had an extra set of clothes in my car when I was doing audits on the road so that I could change if I had an accident because I couldn't get out of the car fast enough to get in the ditch, or Eventually had my own little uh, containers. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, I'm okay. Lying to myself. Now I fought the world because I wasn't going to get on. I didn't want to get on some drugs, but I also didn't have the skills and the tools on my comeback. But I hadn't developed that yet. So the wake up call was when one of these monitor things, when you stick yourself right, it said hi. That didn't mean hello high. It meant high. It was so high it couldn't be measured. Yeah. So the question is, what if I'm not broken? What if my body wasn't the real problem? What it was the system designed against me that I was taking full advantage of on my own free will? I was taking full advantage of because I was addicted to these things, right? So we don't need perfection. You just need a plan. Steve, you just need a plan. We need to be able to repeat the steps that make this work. We really just need steps. We need a plan. We need something simple that will really make this all work that you can use for the rest of your life. And we want it to be a long one. My mom's 97, but I wish I would have known about this 10 years ago because I know she wouldn't be in the condition she is. The comeback plan involves very, very simple things. First, fiber. Again, I'm going to repeat it, fiber. It feeds our gut, it feeds our microbiome, which feeds our attitude, clarity. It's better for our digestion. Anybody have constipation, diarrhea? You take pills and all kinds of things go. Some people are taking shots and their guts are freezing up. No. Some people think they take fiber and it just flows right on through. So having a good fiber makes a difference. A good fiber matrix and with a T, two powerful tools could really make the difference. That's part of the comeback plan. And then eat in a window. Eat, find the time, pick the time. I just came off of a 72-hour fast last week. I'm starting one again today. I'm not telling you to do that, but I can. I can do that and not crave one little second and a half. Some of you are so afraid. No, no. Very simple. When you have control and you give your body time to rest, what happens is on a technical thing, you increase what's called insulin sensitivity. When your insulin level is low, just remember this, we'll talk about another time, but when your insulin level is low, the fat's got to go. Sounds cute, doesn't it? But that's the truth. When the insulin level's low, the fat's got to go. Well, when does the insulin get low? It's when you stop putting things in your gullet. We don't need another bag of chips. We don't need another healthy granola bar. We don't need a protein oatmeal. We don't need a protein drink. We don't need that. What we truly need to do is simplify the system, allow our body to rest, understand the why and the how we got here so we have a clear vision of something, how to make it go forward. Unless you don't want to, that's fine. But I don't know anybody that does want to have more energy. I don't know anybody that wants to become dependent. I don't know anybody that wants to have their waist bigger than their height. If in 3 we have more movement, you can build muscle. Why do you want to build muscle? People, I don't want to go to the gym. No, that's not it. Where does, if you eat, that food turns to sugar, right? That's part of the process. That you can't stop. You can control how much sugar you eat, just pure sugar, but let's just look at that. Where does that extra, where does that extra energy go? Well, it's going to go to your muscles as long as you have muscles. And people that are taking some of those shots to quote, right? And they get smaller and they look like Sharpays. You get all saggy skin and stuff. But what happens is, and you can look this up, prove me wrong, is a lot of that loss of the lie scale, because that's all they look at. Look at the weight, look at the weight, look at the weight, is muscle. And it's up to 40% of that loss is muscle. Let's look at that. Let's just say, and people are so excited that I lost 50 pounds. Great. Congratulations. Congratulations. How long is that going to be maintained? But even so, my point is this. If you had 50 pounds of weight loss, 20 pounds is muscle. That's 20 pounds of energy burning sources for when you stop and you start and you get off whatever you're doing. If you don't follow the 3-step comeback plan, you have decreased the places that energy can get burned up. How are you going to get that back? Where are you going to get this 20 pounds of muscle? I'm just asking for a friend. How? Because one of the things they always say is when we get older, we lose muscle. One of the things of longevity, look it up, one of the measures of longevity is muscles. How many times you see people or know of people in your family that they became frail, weak? They didn't have the core muscles. They didn't have any muscles. Or they're big. Okay, great. But are they big because it's muscle? See, that's a condition called sarcopenia. So if we can continue to move, if we have the fiber, if we follow these things, the order of food, if we add the fiber, we add the tea, if we add the movement, it will what? Energize us. Daily movement. We've got something going on. We have confidence. You have better mood. We get to live well longer. So what I got back my energy. I'm saying, do I have enough energy this morning, Steve? What do you think? Got a clear mind. I get better sleep. I got more strength. I went down to a 28-inch waist. I lost 14 inches off my waist. My hair's growing back. I have clarity. I can see. I'm not wearing contacts. And I can see. Thank you very much. Skin tags go away. I don't have back. I'm happy. I can go swimming this weekend. This week I'm going to be watching a couple of my grandkids for several days, for about 5 anyway. And I'm going to keep up with them. They're going to have to keep up with me. I'm not worried about taking off my shirt and going to the beach because we're going to learn how to swim. Those types of things, I've got my life back. And my fasting blood glucose in 107 days with the comeback plan, I went from 834 to 90. Without any medications, I run 100 now. Easy peasy. And the last 600 days, no medications of any kind. My blood sugar is stable, 100 or less in fasting glucose. In the last 600 days, what has been your trajectory? So what if in 107 days, your life changed? What if in 107 days, you came back? What if in 107 days, you got your life back? What if in 107 days, you don't have to settle? What if your energy came back? What if your mind became clear? What if your sleep improved? What if your weight normalized? What if your doctor was impressed? Your family notices. What else would happen? Because you could play with your grandkids. You could fish and go and play, right? Longer and stronger. Keep your independence. Keep your freedom. Live more experiences. Build more memories. Be more of you. The choice is yours. We can't go back, but you can choose where we go forward. Are you ready for the comeback plan? Come back, and or send me a message and we'll have a chat. I appreciate you coming on board. Have a great day. We're at the top of the hour. Feel free to stop by. I'll be back again probably today. Catch you on all the platforms. If you have any questions, want to learn about the comeback plan, DM me, comeback. Thanks. Have a great day. Steve, it was great seeing you. I'll see you on the 9 o'clock, right? Have a great day. Bye now.